The duty to verify. It's May 13th, 2026. Welcome to yes2hellwith.com. Today we begin examining the prosecutors in the Orlando Carter case. And we begin with the United States Attorney at the time, Gregory Lockhart, and Assistant United States Attorney Richard Chema. Most Americans believe the prosecutor's role is simple, to prove guilt. But legally and ethically, that is incomplete. A federal prosecutor is supposed to serve justice. A prosecutor is supposed to independently verify the structure of the case before presenting it to the jury. A prosecutor is supposed to function as the firewall between investigations and injustice. The alleged $4 million loan obligation became the foundation of the prosecution's theory. So, questions become, did prosecutors independently authenticate that very financial obligation? Did prosecutors require the original loan records? Did prosecutors independently verify the loan guarantee structure, if there was one? Did prosecutors distinguish between lease structures and loan structures? Did prosecutors independently examine corporate authorization and resolutions? These questions matter because once prosecutors accept assumptions without independently verifying them, those assumptions become presumptions and harden into institutional truth. And that truth enters the court arena through indictments, hearings, filings, and eventually jury instructions. The issue is not perfection. The issue is whether major structural contradictions were overlooked before a man, an innocent man, was sentenced to 15 years in a federal prison for a crime he did not commit. Now, years later, as we know, the OCC reflected only a $250,000 debt by admission by PNC Bank. And PNC Bank disclaimed the alleged $4 million loan. And serious questions emerged concerning whether authenticated proof of the obligation ever existed in the manner presented during trial. That raises the obvious question. Why were these contradictions not discovered before trial, before conviction? Because once presumptions are accepted early, the prosecution begins building downstream from those presumptions, and the courtroom slowly reorganizes itself around them as though they were already established facts. That is the danger. Those involved stop asking, was the structure independently proven? And instead they begin asking, how do we prove the defendant concealed the structure? This episode is not merely about Gregory Lockhart and Richard Chema personally. This episode is about the prosecutorial function itself, because prosecutors possess extraordinary discretion. They decide which theories move forward, which evidence matters, which contradictions receive attention, and which assumptions become courtroom reality. The prosecution moved forward despite foundational structural weakness that later became increasingly difficult to reconcile. And instead of revisiting the underlying structure, the system defended the record itself. That's the nature of the beast. That progression starts here with the original assumptions, with original prosecutors, and with the failure to independently verify the foundation before criminal enforcement moved forward. Because once assumptions enter the courtroom, they begin transforming into official judicial history. And as always, may truth reign supreme.